Hi, I'm Tommy Zimmer here at Motor City Comic Con 2013 in Detroit for Creative Continuity.
Excelsior!
If you've never been to a convention, then you really don't understand what goes on here.
The hard thing about Indiana Jones was the whole time I'd go begin my page that day, in my head, dun da 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 dun da da.
Well, it's awesome to meet you, sir. I'm really a big fan.
That's as it should be.
Here at C2E2, we're going to be bringing you live coverage from artists, writers, and cosplayers. Hopefully some stars along the way. We hope you stay tuned to the rest of our coverage here at C2E2 2013. Talking with all-star Western writer and famed Jonah Hex legend Jimmy Palmiotti. You got Jonah Hex going on right now. What's going on with him?
All-Star Western 19 just came out with Boost of Gold. An unlikely team up, but people seem to dig it, and got boosters in for a couple more issues, and then we bring Jonah into present day. So everything gets crazy from there.
You've been putting Jonah on a lot of different interesting periods back in Gotham prior to anything really happening, and tying in a lot with what Scott Snyder and the rest of the Bat universe have been doing. Tell me about how that came about.
Well, we're big fans of Scott, obviously, and when the New 52 was relaunched, they wanted to change up Jonah a little bit, and we didn't change the time period. What we did is just make him get on his horse and go to Gotham, and that's where we've been staying for the past couple of years, for the past 2 years, and introducing Amadeus Arkham and tying it in with everything. So it just seemed like a natural progression for the character, and as well with the new book, it's selling a hell of a lot more than it used to. So we're really happy with that.
You brought in Vandal Savage. How did you guys go about doing that? Because he was introduced in the DC Universe Presents 3 or 4 issue story by James Robinson.
Yeah, no, the great thing about Vandal is he's been alive. We were looking at the characters that would be around the turn of the century, right before the turn of the century, and Vandal was one that made sense to us, that he, since he's eternal, that he would actually be in that time period. So we said, let's take advantage of him, and we said, let's do it. We figured out how to do an interesting take on him, where he would it'd be like less of a villain at first, and then all of a sudden he becomes this horrible human being that we know. But we thought it'd be interesting to see him interact in Gotham before there was a Batman, but there was just a Jonah Hex, so it was kind of cool to do.
Yeah, you've really been building up Gotham in some ways even more than Scott has. I mean, you've been going really towards all the different areas of Gotham and playing with all the different characters, especially the Waynes.
Well, yeah, the Waynes, have a great legacy, and again, working with Scott, a lot of times we're figuring out what we can do in the past that he can use in the future, and vice versa, and great thing about working in the Bat office is we have a lot of interaction, so we kind of know what each other person's going to be doing for the next year and how we can incorporate it in our titles. Scott and the guys have been fantastic with that.
Now coming up, going back to Booster Gold here, he seems more of not exactly a threat to Jonah as much.
No, I mean, Booster at his heart is a hero. As goofy as sometimes he may be, he's still the guy that sits there and says, that's not right, and I'm going to do something about it. So much so we made him a sheriff. It made sense to do it. But we, the fun of the book is we kind of play with the fact that he does look like a circus clown to Jonah, and but Jonah also kind of treats him like an individual. The relationship for the couple of issues is really interesting. And we just thought it would be fun for Booster fans to see Booster show up somewhere where they never expected.
Is he aware of, because he says in the latest issue he's from East Gotham, is he aware of where he's from, or is he not remembering anything?
Yeah, Booster's having problems with his memory, and we also take that on a little bit, the fact that he's not really sure where he's from or what he's doing, but while he's there, he knows that's wrong, and he's going to go be the hero again. So we're kind of playing with that idea.
I've heard that some pre-New 52 memories may be in the mix there. Is any of that possibly in the mix?
Well, we tease at some things. I don't want to give away because every issue is going to show you a little more, but, we're trying to treat the New 52 like the New 52. So we're also playing with the fact that he may remember something or he may not. And we're not nailed down to it, because if we nail it down, then we're making a decision. So we're kind of playing with it a little bit.
And finally, is he going to be the impetus that brings Jonah into the future, possibly?
What do you think? How about that? What do you think?
Well, he's the only time traveler in the DC universe. Rip Hunter was introduced in a Vertigo anthology recently, so
You'll find out. It's 1921. You'll find out in issue 21 exactly what happens.
looking forward to it, Jimmy. Really looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
This has been Jimmy Palmiotti. Thank you very much, and Tommy Zimmer here at C2E2 2013 in Chicago.
It calls the 10 Commandments of successfully working with artists. Obviously, comics is a very collaborative medium. You cannot make comics without artists, especially if you write. If you can draw already, that is wonderful. You are the belle of the ball. Because as I'm sure as you know, once you let people know that you can draw, lots of other people are going to come looking for you. Like, oh, will you draw my comic? You draw my comic? Suit's going, man, I'm sorry, guys, I can't do it anymore. And if you're a writer and you want to create comics and you want to work with artists, these are probably like the 10 best rules or commandments or guidelines that I could give people that might be interested. And the first one is, thou shalt start small. And I use this analogy. This is actually given to me by a buddy of mine, Jim Riddington, who's lettered almost everything I've ever done in comics. And he uses this analogy, which I credit to him than steal. You wouldn't walk up to the prettiest girl in the bar and ask her to marry you without even knowing her name, would you? I hope not. Then don't do it with an artist whose work you see online and like either. This is a very common mistake a lot of aspiring creators make. They've seen artists whose work they like online. They say, hey, I've got this great idea for like this 6-issue miniseries or this ongoing series or this 12 issues or 60 issues or 100 issues, whatever. And I really like you to draw with me. Because you see their art, and you think they would be very, very good at this, man. This would be really cool, Someone that draws, what they hear is, that's 5 panels per page, that's 22 pages per issue, and if it is a 5-issue miniseries, that's 110 pictures. That's a lot. But you think of it that way, that's a lot. And if you go up to them and very enthusiastically, hey, you want to draw 110 pictures of this story that's really good? They're going to disappear. And you're like, why don't these artists get back to me? Why can't I find someone that wants to draw stuff with me? The key is to start small. If you see an artist whose work you like online, the internet's a wonderful place. There's all kinds of stuff out there. There's cats wearing bow ties and bulldogs on skateboards. 2 girls, 1 cup, all kinds of stuff. You know what that is, you're horrible, by the way. So, what I did with Nightmare World was I pitched 8-page stories. You figure 5 panels per page, 8 times 5 is, all right, make sure you're with me. And that's 40 pictures, not terrible. And what would happen is, I got all these artists that said 8 pages. I like to draw anyway. That's not bad. We can do something there. And if it works out, maybe you can do something else together. If it doesn't work out, so be it. I've actually been in a situation where I've worked with artists and they completed the work, but for whatever reason, decided maybe it wasn't not worth, that's a very terrible way of saying it, that it wasn't in our mutual best interest to continue to work together. And the flip side, I've actually worked with a lot of the artists. I've worked with the Nightmare World several times, but there are also artists who I've worked with them once or twice, and that was it. Some of them get picked up to do bigger things. We'll talk about that later, but start small. 5 to 8 page short story. Go that route. And then if it works out, you go on a second date, and you go on a third date, and next thing you know, it goes on and on from there, and you can forge long-term friendships with a lot of these people. They're very talented, which is wonderful.
So are you saying this right now for publicity reasons, or is it really a separate animal?
It's a separate animal.
Okay.
Do you know about Bestow Productions? We're the area's leader in video production. We provide quality, award-winning, and professional work in television commercial advertising, video for the web, video content for direct distribution, video on demand, and so much more. Give us a call at 570-486-4948 and see what Bestow can do for you. And now you know.